once. We still are once again at Stillpoint. You gals are on camera right now.
Are we on camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Jessica Timins, acupuncturist. Susan Scott, also an acupuncturist here, and one of the founders of Stillpoint. And we're also here with Gretchen, our resident astrologer, and myself. You don't get to see a picture of me.
I'll get you up there.
Yeah.
So Gretchen, did you have a question for these
Yeah,
young
I
ladies?
did. I was thinking about this turn of the season and thinking, oh my, we have, two acupuncturists here with your perspective and wisdom on this turn and how we might things that we might do, changes in diet or notice things that we'd have about the functioning of our bodies or acupuncture treatments that would be helpful, or can you just give us a little something?
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
Jessica.
sure. So I think it's especially important as the temperature changes to really be paying attention to appropriate clothing, because you may think that today is a short stay, but then as soon as the clouds come over the sun, it's going to be cold. And that's just a good way to get cold in your body, is to not have enough clothes on, and so then we end up treating like unseasonal colds. That's why there's so many colds and coughs, I think, at this time of year, is partly the environmental influences that like to enter our bodies.
Yeah, cold is probably something that is real prevalent in this cold and dampness. Seattle is a very damp area, and it rains a lot, so it can cause more damp conditions, and you would want to not eat foods that would increase dampness. Like, I know there's a lot of great ice cream parlors around here, but dairy and cheese and that increases dampness.
What is there something particular what would be recommended as a substitute?
Instead of ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
I mean,
good
what
question.
foods would be perfect for the seasonal change?
Warm things.
Yeah.
So
Warm.
yeah, so like
Definitely.
apple pie actually is really good for this season. It's seasonal. It's got the warming spices like the ginger and the cinnamon and the cloves and the cardamom, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
not too much sugar though.
Just
Yeah.
skip the a la
Yeah,
mode.
not a lot of sugar, because that
Yeah.
also increases dampness. It can injure the spleen. Yeah, and if you are even the slightest feeling as though you're catching a cold, the one thing that is real easy to do is just drink. You're feeling kind of chilled and feeling like maybe you were exposed to too much of the elements, to drink ginger tea, just fresh ginger, taking, I don't know, 5 or 8 slices of ginger and boiling it for 5 or 10 minutes, would you say? And drinking ginger tea. It's much better to try to cure a problem with foods and that, rather than to have to go to your local acupuncturist or take herbs. But we're definitely here to serve those who.
Sounds like a plug now.
Well, but do you think it's true that, is it helpful to think of having a treatment at a turn of season, like acupuncture treatment? Does that make sense? If one goes to an acupuncturist periodically, could that be almost preventative or supportive of the turn of season?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, especially if you have certain conditions that happen at that particular turn of the season, and certainly in the fall, the lung is something that is the most vulnerable organ in the body, and so if people have asthma or they have allergies or different kinds of seasonal problems, and it's good to go in before something can happen, before any symptoms happen, just to sort of increase your immune system and strengthen your lungs or your liver or spleen.
Well, that's exactly my issue, so I'm going to have to make a booking. Because I do notice that my lungs start getting very, very sensitive at this time of year. I have a history of asthma. And in the summer, I can tolerate dairy products and things a little bit, but with the turn of the season, suddenly I can't at all.
What about raw versus cooked? You have to eliminate all raw, but can you eat some raw still okay?
I tend not to be a teetotaler in either direction,
Yeah.
just because I think it makes people.
But
unhappy.
recommended
But
though.
recommended mostly cooked, or warm. So if you're gonna eat fruit, make sure at least it's been out of the fridge for a while or heated up somehow. Like Dr. Gal actually used to say, put it in your tea if it's cold. Let's soak it in your tea
Interesting.
so it warms up. So, and not so much on salads now. The seasons are changing. Less salad, more
And less
fish.
smoothies and things as well.
Oh yeah.
Especially because they have the dairy.
Oh my!
Yeah, everything should be probably cooked.
Warm.
Yeah, warm at least, and nothing so much raw.
So
You know, when it
my
starts
coleslaw today was not the.
Yeah, probably.
It was the turn of
Harder
the
to
season. Maybe
digest.
today's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, when it's warm outside, you figure you can eat more cold. You know, it's just kind of the balance between yin and yang. You can have a little bit more cold if it's hot, but if it's cold outside, you want to start eating warm. You know, more on the warm and cooked side.
All
So,
the hearty soups now are
Yeah.
great.
We're at our 6-minute mark, so
Okay.
thank
Well,
you,
that's probably
lovely ladies, for your
That's pretty
wisdom,
neat.
your
So now you're
knowledge,
gonna shoot both of those up on YouTube?
and your levity, and it's off now.